An octopus is sitting on a white tile. You watch it for 5 seconds, then it vanishes. Right in front of your eyes. It didn't move, it didn't hide, it just became the tile. Now here's the part that should completely break your brain. This animal, one of the greatest camouflage artists that has ever existed, is completely, totally, 100% colorblind. It cannot see a single color, not one. So how in the world is it doing this? This question has been driving scientists absolutely crazy for decades. Because on paper, it should be impossible. You need to be able to see color to match color. That's just logic, right? Except the octopus doesn't care about your logic. It can match the exact color of a rock, a coral, a patch of sand, and a moving crab. And it can do all of this in under 1/3 of a second. And today we're going to find out exactly how. Because the answer involves skin that can see, a nervous system unlike anything else on Earth, and a level of biological engineering so complex, it makes our own brains look like a rough draft. Let's start with what's actually happening in an octopus's eye. Inside your eye, you have 3 types of light-sensitive cells called cones. Think of them as 3 different color detectors. For red, green, and blue, your brain mixes signals from all 3 to give you the full spectrum of color. The mantis shrimp, another ocean creature, has 16 of these cone types. 16, the octopus has 1. A single type of photoreceptor that can only detect brightness, light or dark, nothing in between. Their pupil is that strange W-shaped slit you've probably seen in photos. Scientists used to think the unusual shape was just an adaptation for controlling how much light enters the eye. But then researchers from UC Berkeley proposed something extraordinary. What if that strange pupil shape isn't about controlling light? What if it's actually a clever workaround for seeing color without color receptors? Here's how it works. When light passes through a lens, different wavelengths, different colors, come to focus at slightly different distances. This is called chromatic aberration. Think of it like this. If you hold a magnifying glass up to a colored image, the edges will blur into little halos of color. That blurring happens because each color of light bends at a slightly different angle. The octopus's off-axis, W-shaped pupil may be sampling multiple focal distances simultaneously, allowing the brain to compare how sharp or blurry an image is at different light frequencies, and essentially reverse engineer the color from those sharpness differences. It's using physics as a color calculator. But here's what's even more mind-bending. Even if that's true, researchers found that the eyes might not even be the primary color detection system at all, because it turns out the skin itself might be doing the seeing. In 2015, a team at the University of California, Santa Barbara, made a discovery that quietly rewrote the rulebook. They found that octopus skin is loaded with opsins. Opsins, let me explain what those are the light-sensitive proteins that make vision possible in the first place. In your eye, opsins sit inside your cone cells and react when light hits them, sending an electrical signal to your brain that says, I just detected this specific wavelength. The octopus has these same proteins, not just in its eyes, but distributed across its entire skin surface. Every square centimeter of an octopus is potentially sensing light independently. The team took small pieces of octopus skin, removed them completely from the animal, cut off all connection to the brain and eyes, and then shone light on the skin. The chromatophores, the color cells, responded on their own. No brain, no eyes. The skin saw the light and reacted to it. Now the color cells themselves, the chromatophores, are already loaded with specific pigments, red ones, brown ones, yellow ones. Beneath them are iridophores, cells that use microscopic stacked plates to produce iridescent blues and greens through light interference, the same way a soap bubble shows color. And beneath those are leucophores, cells that reflect whatever ambient light hits them. Like tiny biological mirrors, The skin doesn't need to see color the way an eye does. It just needs to sense local light conditions and decide which pigment layer to activate. But even this doesn't fully explain how the whole animal coordinates a perfect full body match without any central command telling every cell what to do. And that's where we get into the most extraordinary part of this whole story, the nervous system. Here is a number that I want you to really sit with. An octopus has approximately 500 million neurons. For context, a mouse has about 70 million. A honeybee has under 1 million. Now here's the extraordinary part. 2/3 of those 500 million neurons are not in the brain, they're in the arms. Each arm has its own neural highway running down its center, with roughly 40 to 50 million neurons per arm, capable of sensing, processing, and responding to its environment, semi-independently. The arm doesn't need to ask the brain for permission to react to touch, or temperature, or light. It processes locally and responds locally. Now apply this to camouflage. The skin is divided into millions of tiny zones. Each zone has chromatophores for pigment color, iridophores for structural color, leucophores for reflective matching, and papillae. Papillae, think of them as tiny biological mountains, can be raised or flattened on command, letting the octopus physically match the rough texture of barnacled rock or the smooth surface of seagrass. All of these systems are wired to the local arm nervous system, not routed through central command. The brain sets a general intention, hey blend in, look threatening, court a mate, and the local nervous system in each arm and each patch of skin fills in the specific details. It's less like a military commander issuing precise orders, and more like a conductor giving a tempo, while each musician in a 1,000-person orchestra plays their own carefully designed part. The result is a living display system of extraordinary precision, operating across millions of independently acting cells, that routinely fools the eyes of sharks, dolphins, and camera-toting marine biologists. And it accomplishes all of this, the full body color match, the texture mimicry, the real-time updating inking without the animal ever consciously thinking about a single color. So let's pull this together. The octopus is colorblind. That part is true. But colorblind doesn't mean color unaware. It may use the physics of its own eye to estimate color through chromatic aberration. Its skin is loaded with the same light-sensitive proteins found in eyes, letting each patch of skin sense and respond to light independently. And a distributed nervous system of extraordinary complexity coordinates millions of color and texture cells, not through central command Quai, but through a brilliant division of biological labor. 3 systems, working in parallel, producing something no single system could achieve alone. The octopus doesn't see color the way we do. It may see it with its whole body, in a way we still don't fully understand. And somewhere at the bottom of the ocean right now, one of these animals is sitting perfectly still on a rock, invisible, because every square centimeter of its skin is running its own private calculation about the light falling on it, designed with a precision we're only just beginning to understand. If that genuinely broke your brain a little, that's the point. Hit subscribe, because every week we find the things that should be impossible, and we figure out exactly why they're not. See you in the next one.